that pussy.
Look at that. They're duck fucking. Duck
fucking.
Duck.
Duck
It's
fucking.
3 boys, huh?
Duck fucking.
They're trying to get. Dude, chill out on the girl, bro.
All 3 of them.
They're all pecking your head.
Should I go fuck this up?
Yeah. Fuck it up for him. Go ahead, mama. Go away. Look at him. Welcome back to another channel. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
Today we got a special guest. A special guest, not only is he special or anything, but he also served our country. I did promise you guys last pod that this pod was gonna be the guy that I brought on early in the morning. I told you guys I was gonna be up early, that I was not gonna sleep till 9, 10 in the morning. Who knows? Crackhead hours, you know? But to introduce you, my good friend right here, Wyatt.
Nice to
Wyatt,
meet
go
you
ahead and
guys.
introduce yourself. Let them know a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Wyatt, and I met Spoonchi back in 2019, and we used to work together. Worked all through 2019, 2020 together. Doing security, still doing security. Been in security over 10 years, and prior to that, I was in the Army. I'm not sure which way to look at, by the way.
Any of them.
Any of them? Okay.
Those two are yours, basically.
And now we're doing a podcast, so if there's anything more you want to know, you can ask.
I'd be the one to ask. So I definitely have a question. I have some questions written right here, bro. Okay, so I did have one question in mind before even the question, like starting writing down. Like, do you have any members in your family that are like in the military, and that's how you like? How'd you get into it?
So no, I'm the only one in my immediate family to serve. I have some great uncles or somewhere farther up the line that served that died before I was born. I think great grandpa was in like the Merchant Marines or something like that during World War II. But how that went into play is growing up in the 90s, we had all the Medal of Honors, all the battlefields, the original Call of Duties, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down in 2000. All these movies and games kind of steered my way into, like, I saw Saving Private Ryan and Black Hawk Down, I was like, that's it.
That was it for you?
Yeah. And then when you're watching movies like The Patriot, and we're American, movies like that where we've got a lot of patriotism on how this country was built and formed, and people died for our rights, and people died, like, shed blood on the land that we sit on right now. That's just kind of how my mind thinks. That's when I knew I was just gonna go in. So the immediate process of going in, I graduated high school. I was kicked out of my house at 18. I was homeless for like 6 months. And then I signed up delayed entry program, but I had waivers. I had to get waivers to go in. I had a moral waiver for prior convictions, medical waiver. I broke my elbow years ago fighting.
Before the Army?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah, 8th grade.
What branch are you in?
I was Army.
Army?
So I had a moral waiver for that, showing the full range of motion, and some other waiver. And then I picked the first job they offered me.
Which was?
Originally, they offered me some warehouse thing, like some 91 or 92 series thing. I ended up picking 92 Sierra, which is a shower, laundry, clothing repair specialist, which is imagine your laundry and bath and fabric repair at the same time put together. Although I don't tell anybody that on my resume, I tailor my resume for what I did in Afghanistan or what I did for base defense details.
You tell them the good part, right?
Yeah.
The good part of
yeah.
Like, for example, I was asked by a girl, hey, like, are you broke or something? And I told her, no, I just live by under my means.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, that's just a nice way of saying you're kind of broke.
Right.
I'm like, okay then, so I get it.
Back then, when I was in Afghanistan, I was in a transportation unit. So transportation is like you're driving cars around. This was a PLS unit, palletized loading. You have a big flatbed. I trained on that for like 2 weeks, and then I got my driver's license like 3 days before I deployed. And then came back. While I was there, I did the transportation thing for a few months, and then base defense details and stuff like that. So we had like the detention facility, chow hall guard, anything to do with like the defense or structure of doing stuff like that. That was in 2012.
And then you say that you deployed, right? And you went, like, did you do any like crazy shit when you were out there and stuff?
Nope, just Joe Schmo stuff, transportation. you know, and I know a lot of other podcasts, you see all those Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Rangers. I was not one of those. So, just regular soldier, and that's just how it goes. You don't really see too many podcasts of just regular veterans out there. So I wanted to go. I volunteered to go. Anybody that was in my unit, in the quartermaster unit, we got asked if we wanted to deploy. The ones who said yes, we had to go interview with the sergeant.
Everybody asked, though, or it's just certain people?
I think there was just, I can't remember exactly how it went down. I think they just asked, they were asking, and people who decided they wanted to, we got to go interview with the sergeant major, and then they're like, okay, or whatever, and then we transferred units, and then so we late deployed. The unit was already downrange. I was with 259th Quartermaster Company, it was Fort Bragg, and then we transferred to 126 Transportation Unit. They were already downrange. And then we deployed.
When you mean downrange, what does that mean?
Downrange means in the combat zone,
oh, okay.
in the combat theater environment. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Downrange,
okay.
They're already there. So that's how that came to be.
Okay.
So.
And then I have another question. It says, what's the dumbest shit you ever seen someone else do while being there?
So there, you know. People, just because they join the military doesn't mean they're like the best people. And I don't want to call it just dumb, because it's beyond dumb. There was a guy, I think he beat his wife or killed his wife or something like that.
Shit.
After we got back, we have to get put on, it's kind of like 24-hour duty where you're at our company area or the battalion area. But when you're watching somebody who's got to go to prison or go to trial, they have to have people watching them, it's like if they
like they're like being watched, right? 24 hours kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name, like suicide watch.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about.
For people who have to go to prison, they have chaser details where you get on the white van and you escort them and to prison and back. So in North Carolina, they go to Camp Lejeune, which is the Marine Corps base, which is like 3-4 hours east on the coast. Fort Bragg is in the middle of the state. So if you're in the middle of the state, you know, you gotta go do that. Because I think it's up to the unit to get that guy out of there. I can't remember how it works. I just know that if a guy gets in trouble in your unit, usually the unit has to
pay the price.
Pay the price, but escort them until the custody transfer is complete. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and it's the same thing in when I was at the Leatherneck Detention Facility. So when you have Taliban in cages, which I had to watch and put my hands on, we have to...
Meaning enemies?
Yes. So when they're already captured, they're already been going through interrogation, or maybe not quite interrogated yet. You have to feed them, you have to bathe them, you have to give them clothes and all that. You actually have, it's like taking care of a baby.
You can't treat them like an animal.
Yeah, you can't treat them like shit.
Right, okay. It's not like the movies we see, right?
Right,
like,
yeah, where they're just, I mean, they'll come in treated like shit. So if infantry got a hold of them first, or the British infantry, maybe you'll see cigarette burns around.
No way, dude.
Yeah. Or if they get shot up, so like when our base got attacked, there was like 1 or 2 that survived, and missing arm and and all that. They got to tourniquet it up, and
And your people do it?
Yeah. So we don't just let them die there. I mean,
right.
some I guess maybe do, but when you transport them on a helicopter to, like, so we went to Lashkar Gah, for example, as another base in Afghanistan, and we're handing them over to like ANA, Afghan National Army, or whoever we were handing them off to. The NCO will do the paperwork,
right.
And then there you go. It's the same thing stateside, do your custody transfer.
That's crazy. The neck, when you got me the neck, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a little necklace they give him, huh?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We should give Christian a little neck thing. Hey, talking about Christian, I got you a drink in my car. My keys are in my bag right here, bro, if you want to grab them. But I got you a Monster, bro, if you want to grab it. Let me see. Oh, you already answered that. What's one thing that's misunderstood in the military, like by like regular civilians?
The social cultures that are on the outside should not apply on the inside of the military. So like all the woke shit you see now, all the DEI stuff they say nowadays, 15 years ago it was just called diversity and equal opportunity. it shouldn't matter if you're black or white, male or female, or a man. What's the other one? Black, white, male, female, or gay or straight.
Right.
Your job should just be a soldier, sailor, or Marine, and just get the job done. But unfortunately, a lot of that was undone when Obama got elected. I served under Obama. I was in 2010 to 2014. He undid a lot of that. And you could look up the old news articles of him firing generals and higher up officers that didn't agree with with the program. This is the same thing that Trump's doing now. You know, when a new administration comes in, that's it. Time to get with the program or you're out of here.
Right.
And so, you know, I could go on a lot of, there's a lot to talk about there. You know, and I just, you know, we out here should not be affecting the military if they're supposed to be a fighting force, you know?
Right.
That's really probably the most understood thing. And then
okay, or maybe what is it one thing that you want people to understand?
One thing to understand, that's probably the biggest one. We shouldn't be dropping our standards no matter what branch to accommodate certain groups of people or demographics. You know, when you go in there, you sign the dotted line to serve our country. You're there for combat, you know. If you're a soldier and you're not going to combat and you're just sitting around during peacetime, that sucks.
Right.
You know, anybody can tell you that during peacetime, things are just terrible. You know, you go sweep the rocks off the bench or mop the sunshine off the grass, stupid things. And so when I was in, I wanted to deploy. Everybody wanted to deploy.
Right.
Meaning go to Afghanistan, go to Iraq, or whatever. Iraq ended. I went in 2010. Iraq ended in 2011. There were some guys that went to basic training with that got to go to Iraq. I didn't get to go to Iraq. I wanted to, but they weren't taking my MOS.
Right.
So I was lucky to deploy when I did. But yeah, I want to say the military was probably the best and the worst thing I ever did. You know, it got me all my benefits. It got me everything. It got me to where I'm at right now. I'm still alive.
Right.
You know, the best shape of my life at the time. You know, I can't say I'm in the best shape as I was, but
right.
You know,
Right. We get older. It's harder, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
You know,
it.
it's you learn to take a different perspective. If I didn't join the military, I don't know where I'd be right now. Probably not alive. Who knows?
You don't think so?
Who knows?
Damn, you're talking right now, and I was like literally living in your boots for a second. I'm over there, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I had a question that threw me off because I was doing all that. But I'm gonna ask you another one. Let's see. Damn, I got so many. Okay, there, that is. That's it. Okay, while you're being out there, like, how do you keep your head, like, strong away from your family? Like, you know, you miss friends, family, mom, dad, all that. Like, how did you do it, and how'd you, like, what'd you think about it? Like, how was your process? How was your process when you went through, like, your boot camp, and then, like, you know what I mean? Like, how did it go down?
When, like I said, growing up, I wanted that. Yeah, I played all the Rainbow Six games. I played all the Ghost Recon games.
Right.
I wanted that. And I think Black Hawk Down was really, I mean, after Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down really sealed the deal for me.
Right.
And, you know, it's just these stories that we have. Whether or not you agree that we should have been there or not, you know, I love serving my country. Do I think we should have been in Iraq and Afghanistan? Absolutely not. And a lot of veterans, I think, feel that way. We kind of grow to hate the federal government and really feel a lot of disdain for how things are after we get out, because it's like they chew you up, spit you out sort of thing, and then you're just kind of, it's like a nasty taste in your mouth.
Right. So it's like when people say, oh yeah, the military promises you this, and then they'll do that for you, right? Sort of situation.
No, for me, when I went in, I picked, like I said, it was like a warehouse job thing, and then by the time I watched the intro video, because they play a little video at the recruiting office of what the job's about, the job was gone.
Right.
I think what happened afterwards, they offered me infantry, but I was homeless and I couldn't stay. I'm from Minnesota originally. I couldn't stay homeless over the winter time.
Right.
I think the ship out date would have been like January 2011. And I said, no, I need something sooner. So they gave me 92 Sierra, November ship out date. And I was cool with that. I'm sorry, what was the original question again? How?
Like going.
Oh, my mindset.
I know you said you wanted to go. I know you wanted to go,
mindset.
but like, didn't you miss your family? Like,
So,
damn, I kind of missed them.
I had a lot of problems with my mom and my stepdad. Probably, I want to say going into middle school, and it really peaked during high school. I'm not going to shit on all stepfathers and stepmothers, but, I mean, I saw my dad every other weekend. I know who my dad was. Right. And, some people just, how do I say this? Some kids, they just, they don't like their step parents or they resent them. I have a lot of resentments. I don't talk to them. My mindset was like, when you kick me out of the house, fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
For whatever reason. And I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I wasn't smoking cigarettes. I was just like a fresh 18-year-old, didn't want to like wash the dishes or do this or that. And, I don't know what my mom was trying to do by doing that to me. I didn't have a lot of friends. After I graduated high school, I stopped talking to a lot of people. So I stayed at a buddy's house that was like a little bit older than me.
Right.
And at his apartment, I slept on the couch and on the floor, and but it beats living at the park. The first thing I did was go to the park, and I didn't know what to do. And
this was out in Minnesota?
Yeah. This is the summertime.
Right.
And then my dad wouldn't take me in either, and he said he didn't have enough room or didn't have this or that, and so my mindset was like, okay, well, I'm going to join the military. Like I always wanted to, and I'm going to do it. And that was my mindset. Now, when you're going to combat, when you're going to Afghanistan, okay, well, let's back up. Basic training, they really motivate you. The drill sergeants for the Army, they call them drill sergeants. You get the motivation. Whether you like it or not, they motivate you. So when you start hearing the cadences about, them singing the songs, or the cadences about like airborne rangers.
It's like when they're doing the little...
Yeah, when they're marching and stuff like
march.
that, you
kind of grow some balls.
Not so much grow some balls, but like it really resonates with you. Like you can't puss out now. It's kind of like getting my son's name tattooed on me. You can't be a bitch and quit.
Right.
It's too late.
Yeah.
It's your son's
You already
name.
put the first letter. You might as well finish it up right.
Do it. Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of the mentality in basic training. And I thought I was going to fail because I could do push-ups. I could not do the sit-ups the same amount. It took me 3 or 4 tries to pass the run and the sit-ups.
Do you get a certain amount?
Yeah, you get like 4 tries. When you get there, this is back in 2010, so it might be different now. 15 years later, or however many years later.
Right.
You get they test you when you get there. It's only 1.5 miles.
Okay.
But then you have to do the 2 miles. And I was so winded when I first got there. I was so out of shape. I didn't do when I signed up. I really needed to go.
Were you a chunky guy?
No, I wasn't chunky. I was underweight.
Oh, okay.
I was probably like 120, 130. And when I got done, I was probably about 140. And then I got to the first unit after AIT, I was about 150. But yeah, they kind of have a way of messing with you when they're doing their drill instructing on you, the mental stuff. So like
in a good way though, right?
Good and bad, It's like if you don't pass basic training, like you're a bitch. Like that's kind of how it goes.
You just look like a bitch the entire time.
Yeah.
Was there people when you were with when you were a newbie, we'll say? Were there other ones that didn't make it? You're like, dog,
yes.
but you thought that we're gonna make it?
Yeah.
Or you kind of knew it already, like, yeah, I know you're a pussy.
No,
Did you see it?
Not so much that I didn't think they were gonna make it, and they didn't. But basic training is supposed to filter people out. So like the military is like one big. Imagine a psych eval, right? And I'm not talking like the MMPI-3 where you're just filling out questions or answers or whatever, or answering 100, 300 questions. It's like one continuous evaluation. Right. Okay, so they weed you out at the recruiting office, but not really because they want to get you in. They weed you out at MEPS, So those who kind of skip by and maybe they got a sore up their ass and they didn't know, and they can't go because it's cancerous or something.
Right.
Who the fuck knows? They weed you out there. And then they weed you out in basic training. If you can't hack being in the same room with 60 other dudes and shower when you need to shower, brush your fucking teeth when you need to brush your teeth, you're out of there. There's some guys that did the suicide watch thing and they had to get out of the military. And then my class was the first male-female integrated class at Fort Sill that I can remember. I think it was. And a lot of women didn't make it.
A lot of women?
Yeah, a lot of females.
More than men?
There was only a handful compared to the men. But there was one that went through, she was 41 years old. That was at the time the cutoff was 41.
Oh, okay.
She made it before she turned 41. I think she turned 41 in basic training. And she was on the cover of Time magazine or whatever. Or like not on the cover, but like she was in Time magazine or something.
Someone on the page.
Yeah. She ended up falling out of the road march or something happened. She didn't complete it. But I think she's got a lot of balls for getting there.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know?
41.
Yeah. And then after I went in, they dropped the age down a little bit. Anyway, the mentality. So that's kind of how I feel. Basic training really resonates with you. I finally passed. I was so fucking thankful that I passed. Because I think I was one of the only ones that was there because I was homeless.
Right.
You know? There's a lot of guys that were in there for whatever reason. You know, not a lot of people were just kicked out at 18 and I'm going to just go in the Army.
Right.
I'm sure there are others, but then you get to AIT and then it's, you know, a little more relaxed, a little more fun, you know, but then you're constantly thinking about the job that you're going to be doing and if you can pass it, because you got to pass. I think there's like a final exam or something like that. You're supposed to identify. I kind of fucked off during AIT and wasn't really paying too much attention, but I did pass. And then afterwards, I took leave, went home, did the hometown recruiting thing, and then I went to Florida to see my grandma and grandpa at the time. And then there was a chick I was talking to who was, you know,
ooh, chicks. I love chicks.
Yeah.
I love chicks. Why don't we talk about chicks a little bit?
Why
don't we talk about chicks a little bit?
Let me finish the story though. There was a chick that was, I had met online because I was playing Xbox Live since 2002, you know, when they launched. I don't think I had the Xbox in 2001 when like Halo came out during the release, but I had Xbox Live in 2002, and I met this girl in like online in 03, and we talked for like, you know, so yeah, this girl I met online like in 03. We talked for almost a decade, and I went to go meet her and see her, and she wasn't having it. She wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, why did I waste my time on you then?
Right.
So imagine talking to someone for a decade and then it's like, you know.
All for nothing.
And this is really like way before smartphones, you know. So like the way to talk to people was like through Skype, Xbox Live.
Okay, damn.
You know, RuneScape, you know.
Did you have MySpace at the time?
Yep, I had MySpace.
Okay,
MySpace was the shit, by the way.
Love it.
And I wish Tom would come back. I have him added as a friend on Instagram.
He has Instagram? I didn't know
He has
that.
Instagram, but he's traveling the world. He sold out, and I say this respectfully, he got out of the game at a perfect time. Now he's living life. He's one of the guys that like had a happy ending.
He would have crashed and burned.
It's like PewDiePie. Got married, had a kid. Now he's semi-retired and
hella money.
like he's a guy that like he made it. You know what I'm saying? Two guys I can say, the PewDiePie and Tom Anderson at MySpace. Definitely made it.
I love it. I didn't even know about Tom like that.
Anyway, so this girl, things didn't go well. I said, all right, screw it, you know, whatever. Mind focused back on the military. Get to my first unit, and I didn't really know what to expect. I was going to Fort Bragg. I didn't go to airborne school, but when you get to Bragg, you're going to go to airborne school. Like if you end up in an airborne unit and you're not airborne qualified, they're going to make you go. So I had like this packet. I wanted to train up to go to airborne school. When I got there, we were still wearing the maroon beret and the jump boots for our dress uniform. But in 2011, the Army went from berets, black berets, to PC caps, and then I think somewhere on that side of base, COSCOM, they lost their airborne status because I even bought the airborne tab for the unit or whatever, but nobody. I don't think we wore it, if I remember right. This was a while ago.
Oh.
But anyway, 2 weeks after that decision, we went to PC Caps 2, and I didn't get to go to airborne school. And so they refer to that side of the base as like the gay side of base, the leg side of base.
Christian, your side. Hey.
So that's the leg side of base. They call people who don't jump out of airplanes legs because they run everywhere.
Right.
But then when you do PT in the morning, you have to run. Like at Fort Bragg, it was the best base to be in shape. The best base ever. All the school slots, Fort Bragg.
Yeah?
Everybody who wanted to go to like a airborne school, air assault, or do SF or Ranger or whatever, all the slots were handpicked out of Fort Bragg. But didn't really matter because I went to Afghanistan less than a year after that. So, yeah.
So,
yep.
Talking about Afghanistan.
Back to the mindset of preparing for yourself for that. You kind of mentally prepare yourself before you deploy, because you're doing the paperwork. You're filling out your life insurance stuff. If you die, who do I contact? If I die, what's going to happen now? You're mentally preparing yourself.
Right.
And the military helps you prepare prior to all of that, because you're going into the military.
Right.
And then once I got there, and they sorted us out between Kandahar Airfield, which was our gun truck platoon, and Helmand Camp Leatherneck, which was our PLS platoon. I got put in the PLS platoon. I wanted to go to the gun truck platoon. All the guys that got to go to the gun truck platoon all got their CABs, which is a combat action ribbon, which means they saw combat. And I say that loosely because you can get that ribbon for doing, or the badge for doing whatever,
Right.
Anyway.
Damn.
So, but when you're doing your truck driving, you're more focused on the road and staying awake if you're doing a nighttime operation than getting blown up by an IED or whatever, getting shot at. You're really just focused on the mission, and whatever happens, you react to it. We're a reaction force, unless you're like a ranger and your job is to go kill the enemy, and that was like your primary objective from the start.
Right.
Like you're going to get into a shit show. Whereas transportation, I didn't even get to fire a shot.
Damn.
Not even once. And
Really?
I wanted to. That's how it goes sometimes. And you know what? Maybe God forbid, I do that and shit happens.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I didn't even get to shoot my weapon once. We had the shitty M16A2s, which is they call them muskets, the big ones, but we got collapsible buttstocks, which were cool. And so mentally prepared.
Love it.
Sorry that took about 20 minutes.
It's okay. We're gonna switch it over to a little bit off the pod. We're talking about off camera. We're talking about girls, and then he brought it up how he's on on Tinder, and I'm gonna leave it up to him because we're talking about. I was like, oh, no. What did we talk about? That we brought it up with I'm dating the Tinder or some girl from Tinder.
Yeah.
And then no. He says, what'd you call your girl? What do you call your girl?
My sandwich maker.
He called her sandwich maker. I asked him why that.
And
then he said,
yeah, my little sandwich maker, because she likes to cook. And I met her on Tinder. She's from Bolivia.
I love it.
And she doesn't speak English.
So how do you talk to her?
We translate the entire time. Time.
How does it, I mean, but when you guys have a relationship, you don't obviously need the translation, right? Like, ooh.
No. Like, we need the translation because she doesn't speak English.
And then, she speaks Spanish though?
Yeah, fluently.
And you don't understand a little bit of it?
Just a little bit, yeah. And she understands a little bit of English because she's taking English classes. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'll meet these chicks on like Tinder or Chispa or whatever. And I've been doing that for years. I've been doing that for years. And I don't know, there's something about Latinas, man. Like, she gets depressed and like feels like her whole world collapses if she can't cook for me.
No way. I love that, dude.
And before our first date, she cooked me a meal.
No.
Before I went to work.
That's love, baby.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
where do I find one? Like, where is she from?
Dude,
like LA, Irvine.
Lives in Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
Lives in Long Beach. Yeah, and she lives with like her sister, her cousin, a couple friends, and then so like the first date, I brought her to Dairy Queen in Huntington Beach at nighttime.
Oh, whoa! You're one of those guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going,
Dairy
bud?
Queen.
I love it.
She loved it because she was like, I never had mint chocolate ice cream before. I've never seen that, and I really like
Showing the good side of life, huh?
And yeah, but we're still getting to know each other.
How long have you been dating, young?
Oh, maybe a month.
Oh, okay, it's fresh.
A month or two, and
fresh like a baby lamb.
they have such a different standard of living.
Right.
Everywhere outside of America, a different standard of living. But I went to her apartment, and they had eggs out on the countertop. And
Raw? Like raw eggs?
like from the store or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, why aren't your eggs in the refrigerator?
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've in a Mexican family if you
Yeah,
guys
I
do
think
that.
some people just leave them on a table or something.
Not
like
in this
that.
country, absolutely not. Because if you buy refrigerated eggs, they've already been processed.
Right.
They've already been washed, and the layer around the egg that protects the egg is gone. And that's why they put it in the refrigerator. In this country, you're supposed to refrigerate your eggs. They last like 20 days longer too. And because if you don't, then you get all the salmonella and all the bacteria.
Yeah, I didn't know. Not only military, but damn, you building out the science guy.
Yeah,
I love it.
well,
I didn't even know about that
I had
egg.
to pull it up because she was like,
Oh, you're trying to school her?
Yeah, and she's
it.
like, no, they go out, they stay out of the fridge. I said, no, they don't. They go in the fridge.
So you put them in the fridge?
Yeah, and I told her,
Love
I
it.
said, I don't want your eggs if you cook me eggs if they're just sitting out. They need to be refrigerated.
But did you tell her and translate? Is that what you told her?
Yeah. Well, I said in English to her face, and then she pulls out the phone. It's like, huh? And I'm like, put the button.
I love it.
And started talking, and it translated.
I love it.
And she's like, okay.
Hey, and then when you guys first met though, like, was it already like, yeah, I like you, or because you guys were talking through Tinder?
Yeah, so I can't really go back and check the messages because I got banned
Right.
on Tinder. So, you know.
Was it an easy pickup, would you say? Or it took some time to get that?
No, when you're messaging chicks on Tinder, especially Latinas that don't speak English, just hit on them.
Gotcha.
I don't want to say the word aggressive, but you know, they really love that love language, the mi amorcita.
Bro,
type
with
thing.
me, it don't work. I get a lot of girls telling me I look white. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm Hispanic, whatever. But bro, honestly, I've been telling the pod last week, the week before that, the week before that.
what you
I don't
need-
get nothing, bro. Like, they'll hit me up. We'll do the whole chit-chatting, the whole, I'll
Right.
meet you, even the number.
Yeah.
And then through the number, a little bit more chit-chatting to get to know each other. I get to know them enough to be like, okay, this guy's cool or not, and they like me or not. All right, we can meet up on Wednesday. Wednesday pulls up. Hey, something happened.
Yeah.
Or they just stop writing to me, bro.
so
I'm like,
I
what the
get
fuck
that.
is this?
I
I get
get-
it a lot, bro.
I get that a lot. I've had that a lot. But if you look white, just lie.
It's white.
Just lie. Just lie. Just say, play the
Lie through
gringo.
my teeth?
Play the dumb gringo card.
I sometimes be lying through my teeth, bro, and it shit still don't work.
Oh.
I tell them I do backflips. I'm a circus clown. They don't believe it. They don't buy it.
I wouldn't even. I would just play the love game, man. They love that stuff. And just play the
So it's
gringo.
not being tough
just
anymore.
play the gringo card.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a gringo.
That's it. You heard it.
I love my Latinas.
He does.
Que pasa,
He really
baby?
does. He really
Que
does.
pasa, baby? You know, they love
Damn.
that. You know, because when you're talking to chicks outside of America, like south of the border, like real Latinas,
Right.
they think like their parents and their grandparents, they're like, oh, mejorar la raza, blanqueamiento, improve the race, whitingly.
Right,
you know,
right,
they
right.
love
Slowly but
that.
surely,
They want
sweetheart.
their granddaughters to be with a white guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they want to mejorar la raza, improve the race. Like that's their whole mentality. That's their whole mentality. So if they can land a white guy, no offense.
And he's pointing right now
offense.
to an Asian guy behind the camera.
No offense.
No offense, Asian guy.
No offense to the audience, whoever's deciding to listen.
right. No, my people get it.
Do they?
What are we on the battery in the middle cam? You can't see?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Yeah, no, they love that. So like, she said I was beautiful and like called me beautiful.
Damn, dog, you must really like it.
Like they think it's angelic, I guess. But, you know,
So it's going good for you,
It's
basically. saying.
going all right. Yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
She supports you on all your shit that you be doing?
What do you mean?
Like your little any hobbies that you do and shit like this. She's like, yeah, I got you, Poppy, or whatever.
Yeah, mostly she really likes to cook and clean.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's hard
I
as
swear
fuck
to God.
find.
I swear to
Just
God.
you got sisters or anything like that?
She does, but they got brown guys. So.
Hey, well look at my skin, baby. You got a roommate.
take a look. Let's take a look.
We got the same skin, Papa. See, they want you, they don't want me.
Yeah.
I think they want a real man with some balls, hairy
Yeah,
balls.
exactly. And that's kind of my attitude, you know. I'm prior service. I'm a veteran. a lot of veterans, we don't give a fuck about a lot of things, you know?
She probably likes that about you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I'm sure in the Mexican culture, men are macho and they have to be a certain way.
Right.
And then, like, maybe the girls may or may not like that, the Latino side of that. But being white and American macho is different, you know? It just is. But I'm pretty traditional when it comes to that.
Yeah.
You know, I think, yeah, great. You're in the kitchen. I bought her a step stool.
There you go, mama.
I bought her a step stool.
Get the
from
stepping,
fucking
mama.
Amazon.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I bought her a step stool. And so her sister, her cousin, and her 2 girlfriends in there can step up. They're not even using half the kitchen. They're so short.
Right. Yeah, I gotta pull up
They're
sometime.
so short. And
girls living in there as well.
yeah, so they really appreciated it. But walking into her apartment, it was like 5 wives living in there.
No,
I
you're lucky. Imagine one
swear
night.
to God.
Would you hit all if they're like all down with it?
You know, I'm probably gonna show her this video, so I don't wanna.
We might just have to cut.
I
this
don't
part
know.
out.
No. Keep it in there
All
because
right.
it's funny.
All right, never mind.
I told her this. I said, hey, it's like 5 novias. It's like 5 wives, because her friend or her cousin, I think it was her cousin. Oh, you want some food in Spanish?
Right.
You know.
But Mexican, like Hispanic people like that, they always want to just. Here,
and then the
you know?
women are just like, if you don't accept this gift, I am so heartbroken and depressed and upset.
Yeah, man.
And that's exactly how she is. Because I said this morning she made me like granola, fruit, and some yogurt, like mixed it in like a berry bowl.
Right. God
But
damn.
she forgot the orange juice, and
Fuck.
she was so adamant on, I will never fail you. You know.
What?
I will never fail you.
I love this.
that
I love this.
I was like,
Oh
so I
my
was talking shit to her a little bit, and I was like, oh, what happened, miss? I will never fail you. and then so she saw it, and then she played it, so it played aloud, and then she did it again and again and again, and like looked at me and was like, this is stuck in my head now. And she's like, you know, like the end of the world shattered and whatever.
Damn.
And I was like, look, listen, it's fine. I had to shatter your self-confidence a little bit, because not everybody's perfect. You're gonna forget once in a while.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that's where that's
That's
at.
big fucking daddy right there. God, damn.
Yeah.
We're gonna end the pod right here with this real quick. Give me 1 second before we close out the pod. I want to get to end with this pod with this. We talked about your military. We talked about a little bit of your love life, which I love.
Right.
I told you my problem. You said keep it gringo, or what was it? What was it?
Just play the gringo card, honestly. You know,
Okay.
just play it off and then lie to them. And
Lie to
then
them.
Meaning
lie to them if they what?
Not so much lie, but like kind of
Go along with
a
your
little
bullshit?
white lie, you know, like, yeah, I'm a gringo, I don't know shit.
Something
You
I
gotta
can
play
clean
dumb.
up later, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you know fluent Spanish, right?
Yeah, of course.
Bring that shit out and surprise them.
I'm gonna let that. Mira, mami.
Yeah.
Yo te quiero chupar la panocha.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then play dumb, pretend like you don't know, let her bring you around her family, you know, and then you know what they're saying, and then you can just surprise her.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a long ass fucking.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
don't
long
need to
prank.
you don't need to tell women everything. Okay.
Yeah, I know
You
that. I
don't.
learned that.
And you shouldn't. Absolutely not.
Take
You
notes,
should
bud.
not. You should not.
What's it called? What was I gonna ask you? We talked about your military. We talked about your love life. How's life going for you now?
It's pretty
Wait,
tough
so
because I got I got a bunch of cases I'm dealing with. We had mentioned earlier, but I had another interview on YouTube, and you can link it in your video.
We'll add it to the bottom.
Put the pop up there. But I have a civil case I'm going through because of I had a DV allegation a while ago. The charges were rejected. Never went to trial, and all it takes in this state is one phone call to ruin your life. And my life was pretty ruined. I was able to get everything back, but I'm still fighting to get another permit back. And so now I'm dealing with family court too, and man, it's expensive. And it really tests you. I'm sure there's a lot of veterans who probably would have killed themselves if they would have went through a fraction of what I went through.
Right.
There's a lot of guys. That's another thing. Male suicides, veteran suicides, it's at like an all-time high. And men are always going to be the ones to kill themselves more. It's just the way it is.
Have you ever thought about that, brother?
No. I've actually lost a few friends since I've served, probably about 3 or 4. Some men, some women, and it sucks. And so one of them left like kids behind.
Fuck, right.
Left kids behind. Like he was divorced, got a new wife, left his new wife and his kids behind.
Right.
And this is over 10 years ago. Like, this is when I was still in. He just couldn't take it anymore. All the shit he was dealing with. His divorce and family court, just killed himself.
And then do you feel like that applies to, you know how, because my sister was in the army too, and I have an older sister, but I don't talk to my sister, so it's like, and when I say she was in the army, I say it loosely, like you said it earlier. Why? Because, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I want to say that she really didn't do nothing, bro. And like, she went out here acting like this hard ass person, that she flew out of airplanes and all that. Like, she messed up her arm, whatever. But I remember her telling me like, yeah, they promise you all these things, and then when you get like fucked up, and then or you're going like mental, like you're going like crazy, like you go over there to the VA, whatever that's what it's called, right? VA.
Yeah, the VA.
And then you ask for help, and they don't even want to help you. Like, you think is that part?
How long ago was that?
She was, I want to say maybe like 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
It was really bad then. It was really bad under Obama.
Yeah, I think she was when Obama maybe might have been.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty back then. Trump, his first term, he really revamped the VA, which a lot of people don't give him credit for. The choice program, the Forever bill for the GI Bill, forever to use it. Choice program meaning community care and outside providers, and then being able to go back on base to shop and just do stuff on base. He was able to pass stuff like that. He did a lot of stuff for veterans. It sucks that he lost the second time around when Biden got in, but it was kind of a blessing, but kind of not, because there's a lot of things he's doing right now that I agree with as a veteran and as a taxpayer, but then there's things that he's doing that I absolutely don't fucking agree with. Mostly the Middle East stuff with Israel and all that. Honestly, we just had 20 years of global war on terror. I don't want to see another war happen. That would really suck. And I don't think, I think if you're really liberal or really conservative, you also don't want to see another war. I think that just kind of goes hand in hand. There's a lot of families that were affected by that. A lot of people were affected by 20 years of global war on terror. And for what? Like the Biden pullout, what a waste. So I'd hate to see that. My
final question for the military thing.
Oh, sorry. Let me finish answering. So she was enlisted, like she was in the military?
Yeah. She from what I know, airborne. Something to do with airborne.
She had a maroon beret?
Yeah, she had like a little dark burgundy, like the tip of your color. Yeah.
Okay.
She had one of those.
So she was in.
She went to that school thing I think you're talking about
airborne
too.
School? Okay.
Yeah.
Did she? So she's out now though.
Yeah, she hasn't been in forever.
Was she honorable discharge?
Fuck if I know, probably. Because from what I know is she got discharged for falling out of an airplane or something and fucking up her shoulder, and she
medical discharge.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know exactly.
So in my opinion, even if you didn't go to combat, you're still a veteran. You might not be a combat veteran. You might not be a war veteran. All this just means is that I was there. I don't pretend to be infantry. I don't pretend to be special forces or special operations. I own up to my service. It's kind of a catch-22 though. Like, why the fuck did I serve if we're just gonna pull out and leave everything there and have 12.5 troops get killed on the way out of Afghanistan? Like, that was stupid. So I'm kind of ashamed of my service. Kind of not though. Like, I always wanted to serve and I'm glad I served. I love my country, but it's like kind of worthless, it feels like. But just because you didn't go to combat doesn't mean that you're not a veteran.
Okay.
So if she served and she got out medically, it's not her fault.
Right.
So, but if you're gonna act like you did some shit and you didn't do some shit, that's where the issue is.
Yeah, well, that was my issue with her. Not that that was an issue. That's why we don't talk no more. But
so I'm
like, fool, just don't act like if you didn't do it, don't say you did do it.
I have such a hard time watching those stolen valor videos. I don't like clicking on them. I just can't stand it.
Yeah, I get pissed off. You watch them.
And a lot of the time, it's not just people who didn't serve that are doing that. It's people who served and they're saying they did way too much. Like, you want to say you were a Navy SEAL, but you were fucking a supply NCO that was maybe attached to something, but you didn't actually go out and do anything. So even though I was a quartermaster, support supply, Corps, Quartermaster Corps, and was in a transportation unit, I still went outside the wire and went from base to base in theater. Even though I was my MOS, I still got tasked out to base defense details and hauled Taliban prisoners around, even if it was for a short period of time. I still did things. I just didn't do a lot of things, and that's kind of where people slip up, and they need to, chill out and shut up.
Love it.
That's how I feel.
Love it. You heard them. You heard it from the man himself. Why I call him Big Dub. On my phone, I have a Big Dub. I swear to God. I don't know why I call him Big Dub, but I think it was an inside joke. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
To end this pod, I'd like to ask every single my guests, if there's something you can leave, something positive you can leave to the world that maybe they're going through some shit. What's something you could tell them right now? How to get them?
Well, if you're a man, nobody's going to be there to save you. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And your best bet is to keep moving forward. You can only save yourself. All right? Like your situation you were telling me, I mean, fuck these bitches. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Fuck them. If they're not going to be there for you in your 20s, don't give them your 30s. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 30s now. I'm not going to deal with the bullshit anymore.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's going to get better eventually, but you have to keep moving forward, and you can't dig yourself deeper. If you're addicted to drugs and you want to help yourself, it all starts with you. If you're going through divorce and family shit, get out of the house. Avoid the domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth throwing your life away. And then having your kids exposed to it, not a good look. Not good at all, especially for them.
Right.
That's probably my little piece right there. If I had to give something positive out, I'd like to see men do more and do better. It's not always their fault, but even if it's not your fault, you got to help yourself. And if you want to do another podcast, you just let me know.
Love it.
So
I fucking love it. Well,
Yeah.
You guys heard it yourself. Fucking Wyatt took the whole podcast. I love it. I really love it. This is the first pod ever that I really don't talk, and I loved it. I was living this fucking life for a second and I loved it. But with that being said, and I appreciate Wyatt for coming out, and thank you for serving our country, buddy.
No
We
problem.
appreciate you. So if you guys got to the end of this video and you got this far, go to the bottom of the comments, put thanks for serving my country, Big Dub. Just throw right there. I never say this usually on my podcast, but go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to throw his video down at the link at the bottom of the description, and we're going to throw it right here on top, right here in the video too, if you guys want to go check it out, bad out. If there's anything you want to shout out for your Instagram page, your car club thing that you're in or whatever, go ahead, you can throw it on right now, and I'll pop it up.
I will shout out CRS Firearms. That's the video that's going to be linked. He interviewed me on YouTube a few years ago, and then he went to prison on a bullshit ATF case for conspiracy to manufacture machine guns, I think it was. It was some little auto key card thing. I don't like the ATF. Fuck the ATF and fuck the IRS. We'll leave with that. But CRS Firearms, I really do appreciate you interviewing me years ago. I didn't get a chance to really thank you before all that happened, and I'm sorry to hear and see what's going on with your wife having to run the show. I know she's struggling, but just hang in there. You have a release date. Don't fuck up while you're in federal prison.
You heard it. Don't fuck it up. We love you guys. I'm Spoonchy, this Big Dubskis. Thank you for coming out again on the show, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We love you guys. I'm Spoonchy. Peace.